It's been a while since I have recorded anything, any video, any podcast episode, even on Instagram. I don't know if you guys follow me, you know that I would have my little daily, weekly wisdom drops, and I just haven't been there lately. I've actually wanted to do this video for quite some time now, but I never got the, courage to do it until now. The truth is, if there's anything that, being a mom taught me, is that you're gonna keep making, I guess this goes for life in general, you will always make excuses why you can't do something, right? You can create a whole list in your head of why something can't happen or why you can't do it. And it just comes to the point where you choose that one reason why you can, you should, or whatever. I'm honestly, when I planned in my head to do this video, I wanted to look cute. I wanted to do my hair, do my makeup. I wanted to dress pretty. I'm literally in the clothes that I slept in last night. All I did was throw on some eyeliner and said, you know what? Let's just hit record. And so here we are. 2021 was a challenging year, to say the least. There's a lot of things that happened that I never in a million years saw happening. People showed me a side of themselves I never in a million years knew existed within them. Multiple people. And it was literally just a year of constantly trying to heal, trying to process things, trying to forgive, all while dealing with all the emotions that I've had to deal with, dealing with the physical stuff I have to deal with legally, financially, being a mom 24/7, a single mom 24/7, and then, letting go of my business. Towards the end of the year, it just got to a point where the only thing that I could describe it as, it felt like I was just emotionally drowning. That is the only thing that is the best way that I can, if I were to paint the picture with words, that's what it felt like. Everything that I had to deal with, it just felt like I was emotionally drowning. And for some time, it was so strange, but I kept feeling like the church was calling me, or actually, to be more specific, it felt like God, Jesus, was calling me. And then I started to see signs. And when things really speak to you, I started to randomly just hear Bible quotes, about encouragement when I needed it, about forgiveness when I needed it. And I was just like, wow. It was not something I was looking for or expecting, but in those moments, it spoke heavily to my soul. And part of me was feeling pulled back into, maybe I should just walk into church and see how that feels. For those of you who don't know my background, I was actually brought up in the church. I went to private school from kindergarten to freshman year. But the way that I was taught, I don't want to get specific about like what religion I was raised as or anything like that. But to put it simply, I grew up in the church, but I strayed away from it because of all the things that just didn't make sense to me. There was more that didn't make sense than made sense. Everything, how I grew up, was very fear-based, and you either do this or you're going to hell. It was never like I'm actually inspired to be good and act good because of like I am good, I'm born good, my heart is good, and whatever, it was always like fear. Like, you're gonna go to hell if you do this, you're gonna go to hell if you do this, and that's just not something that I believed in. It didn't sit well, it didn't resonate with me, so I strayed away from the church. And it got to a point where every time something bad happened in my life, part of me would turn to scripture. And there were things that were very encouraging, and I would kind of get back into my relationship with God. And when things were really good, I was like, you know what? I don't need these scriptures. I don't really fit into a religion because of what I do, because of what I believe in. I don't 100% believe in any of this stuff. So how can I call myself anything? This religion, this religion, this religion, if I don't follow it 100%, you know? And so I stuck with like, well, I'm gonna keep my relationship with God. Sorry, neighbor's dog is clearly not happy that I'm recording right here. Anyway, I'm gonna keep my relationship with God, and it is gonna be what it is, right? But this year, towards the end of 2020, I was in a really good place. You know, my baby, my baby was like 6 months old. I was in a really strong place with God, and so much happened. My business started booming. I was with my girls all the time. There was just so much joy in my life. And this year was just like, I don't want to say the opposite, but it was just so much, so many emotions, so many things happening at one time that it got too much for me. It was very hard to be a 24/7 single mom and still have a business. So I decided to let my business go. Not only am I overstimulated, anybody who's a mom, you don't even have to be a single mom. When you're a mom, especially of more than one child, not even that, when you have one child, there is so much stimulation, and there's things that people just don't understand, right? It's like, I can hear the TV in the other room on, the TV in this room on, and I could see that there's dirty stuff on the floor while hearing the washer, while hearing the neighbor's dog, while hearing the other neighbor's car booming really loud, and I'm trying to process something else that I have to do, and it's like I can't even hear myself thinking. You have all these things going on in your brain saying, I need to do this, I need to do this, I gotta go there, but this kid is doing this, and this kid is about to fall off the couch. Like, it's too much, right? And I realized that you know, that alone, doing that on a daily, plus having to run a business, became way too much for me. It got to a point where I was just like, how can I fully hold space for somebody when in reality, like, I had to be honest with myself. I'm the one who, like, I need someone to hold space for me. That's what it is. And there was just so much that happened this year, or in last year, 2021, that I could not genuinely, out of integrity, I could not, like, it didn't feel right to try to coach and lead with somebody. I know I can, but it didn't feel right if I knew that I need this much, like, time away from people. I need someone to hold space for me. I need someone to listen. I need someone to hold space for me. I need someone to hold my hand, you know? And I felt, it just didn't feel, it felt like I was out of integrity by trying to keep up this coaching thing of, like, helping people and healing people. And although I can do it, although I can still do it, although I want to do it, and it's something that I still plan to do in the future, it's not something that I right now truthfully feel I can give in my highest. And if I'm not giving in my highest as a coach, as a mentor, then what am I doing? I'm not going to sit here and lie to myself, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to my clients about, well, you got this, and in reality, like, I'm losing my patience inside, because even though I'm on a call with them, I can hear one of my kids screaming in one room and the other one is crying because she's hungry in this room, and it's like, it just got too much for me. So I let my business go. I had a lot of guilt and shame with that, and there's just a lot of personal stuff happened, a lot of family things that happened, and it just got to the point where I just felt like this is just too much for me. And then I would start to slowly see signs and scriptures as I was driving. People would say things to me that I used to listen to a lot of, I guess I'm just gonna say it now, a lot of like Christian rock. And I started hearing, like, people would say lines, and they're not even Christian, right? It was like in the gym, but they happened to say a line from one of my old, like, favorite Christian rock songs. And I was like, okay, this can't fucking be a joke. And it got to the point one day, I remember this so clearly. I was just in a really weird place. I remember laying down in my room, and like the only thing I could think of is like emotionally, I just feel like this is exhausting, you know? And I saw this picture randomly, and it was a picture of, it looked like blurry because it basically, you're underwater is what the picture looks like. And there is this man who's reaching his hand out to you, like smiling at you, like, hey, I got you, like about to pull you up from under the water. And it was a picture, well, the intention of that picture was Jesus. And when I tell you that my life for the past year has just been so serendipitous, like there's been so much divine intervention with anything and almost everything that has been happening to me, this was definitely one of the most like serendipitous divine intervention moments of my life. When I, you know, the only way that I could depict it at the time was I felt like I was emotionally drowning. Out of all things to run into, right? And I'm lying down in my bed, it's this picture of Jesus like pulling you out of water. I was like, wow. So I decided to go back to church. The first time I went by myself. And within 10 minutes, I could just feel the Holy Spirit like take over my body. I was weeping in church within 5 minutes of being there. Because at first, you know, it's just, we start off with a prayer. The prayer already hit my heart and I was like, oh my God. And then we start singing the songs, and it was again serendipitous. Like out of all the songs that we sing, there's hundreds and hundreds. It's my first time back. It is literally my favorite Christian rock song that we sang in church. And I was like, oh my God, like there is just no way. Like there's no way. I don't believe in coincidence. First and foremost, we'll get that out of the way. And the fact that it was that, and just how things like were stacking up, just like happening one thing after the other, and I felt it in my heart, like it was God saying, I'm calling you, listen. And I have not missed a service since then. I've even started taking my daughter with me, and it, you know, I'm not here to try to persuade anybody, and I know that there is this huge thing right now where in the coaching industry a lot of people are like turning to Jesus, turning to God, turning to religion again, and there's some people who are like, well, you know, they're just following the crowd and this and that, and you know, I am kind of tapped into both worlds. I can't say that I fully fit in or belong to either world, because I'm not 100% in either way. The only thing that I'm trying to speak on is my experience, what I know to be true, what I have experienced. I can't speak for the other people. And there are people, like I even see on Facebook, I'm friends with many successful coaches in the industry, and they talk about how a lot of these people who are like transferring to religion again, they're saying that they are the most judgmental people and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not gonna say that they're not. There's a lot of judgment that I can see happening even in church, but the same thing is happening in the coaching industry. Like I think that everyone is on their own specific journey, and everyone's just trying to figure it out. All I can speak is my journey and what I know to be true. And what I know to be true after what I've experienced is that my world, my life has shifted in such a short amount of time for the better. I have never felt this much peace. I have never felt this much strength in the midst of all this chaos. and there's still so much that's happening, but I feel stronger than ever. I don't worry. I sleep at night not worrying about anything. People's voices and all their bullshit that they want to put on me or they want to intimidate me with, like, it's just silence. It's almost like a joke at this point. I feel so at peace, and even the people who still try to hurt me and then they play victim online, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's karma, whatever. You might believe in karma. I sort of don't really care about the whole karma conversation. The only thing that I'm focused on is me. And me knows I've been a good person. Me knows I've done what I can. Me knows that I have been bullied, harassed, everything. And I'm not accepting that anymore. And if you want to try to do it, go ahead, try to do it. But I'm not playing around anymore. I have never felt this strong. I have never felt this shielded, guarded. And that's another thing too. Prior to getting back into this, I have felt like for years, like I've had to do it on my own. I have to figure things out on my own. I have to process on my own. I have to integrate on my own. And like, yes, to an extent you are by yourself, but there is nothing more, like, there's nothing that has brought me more peace than actually feeling and believing that, like, I'm actually never alone. If I need to be alone, cool, but the second I need someone or I need something, God is there, Jesus is there. All it is a quick prayer, and that's it. Opening my Bible, I'm good. I am so good. And not only that, I've, you know, being back at church, I've actually, just to be back in fellowship. Not only do I not feel alone when I'm actually alone, but I never feel alone because I have my fellowship. I have the people I go to church with. I have a community. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've been missing, even in the coaching world. It's not that people don't want to be in community with you, but you know, when you don't vibe with somebody, you just don't vibe. And there's something about my church specifically where everyone just makes me feel welcome. And the first service that I went to by myself, it was it was so funny. Again, serendipity, right? It was about straying away from God. And when you hear the calling, he's not going to leave you alone. It's like a parent who gives a shit about you, right? Anybody who cares about you is gonna want to teach you the lesson, right? But he never left. And for a parent who doesn't discipline you, in a sense, they don't care. And something that my pastor said was like, you know, we tend to stray away, and then we wonder why we feel alone. We stray away and we wonder why all these bad things keep happening. We stray away and we wonder why do I feel so broken inside? And then we cry out, God, God, God. Why do we wait for that? And I feel like I've done this enough times. I was telling one of my friends, like, I have done this enough times. I have strayed away enough times to know there is no truth outside anymore. There's no truth outside of Jesus, in my opinion, in my experience. Again, everyone has their own belief system. Everyone has their own experience. People find peace not in the church. That's great. That is not for me. But going back to what I was saying is that my pastor was saying, if God is not calling you, maybe you're not his. And I had to come to acceptance with that, because I want to believe that we all belong to the same creator. We all belong to the same light. We all belong to the same God, even though we're split up by religion. But I can't lie that I think that maybe we're not. Maybe we're not all from the same creator. You know, this is something I'm pondering on. Don't come at me for this. It's just something I'm pondering on. It's not even what my pastor said, but now that I've experienced what I've experienced, especially last year, I don't know if people are from the same creator. I don't know if I believe that entirely anyway. And I don't think that God is only calling specific people, but I think that I feel like for my creator, my father, all I know is he's called me, and the people who still try to hurt me, if he's calling them, then they're not listening. That's all I can say. Either they're not listening or we're not from the same creator. And if we're not from the same creator, then I don't want to give any more of my energy there. I can love everyone. I can give love to everyone. But again, if you're trying to hurt me, and you've tried to hurt me, or you've tried to hurt me before, and even though you want to say all these nice things, and I can feel your intention is not that, I don't want it. I don't need to have you in my space, my world, my energy. I don't need to give you anything. Why should I? Why should I? If all you've done was try to hurt me, I can forgive and I can pray for you, but that's all you have for me. So I guess the biggest thing that I want to leave here is I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I don't know if I want to say I'm gonna come back into the coaching world, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back for the kids, people who need to learn about Jesus or rediscover, just like me, rediscover their relationship with Jesus. I'm coming back not for myself. And that's the thing that I think I've realized too. Having my business was always for me, and for my kids. And I've gotten to the point now where I realize that I don't need to do it for me and my kids. God will provide that. What I live through now is spreading the word of God, spreading my truth. I'm not trying to force it down anybody's throat, because I know how that feels too. Not cute. But I live for God now. I live for Jesus, and I live for the person who has constantly healed me and saved me. Because even now, I am constantly at peace. I'm constantly, I don't know, I feel like just the most loved I've ever felt, I guess. And it's like this divine, radical love. I see life so differently. Like literally just looking at the sunlight right now, it just looks so different than it did a month ago. Not even a month ago, more like 2 months ago. Almost 3. Just how I view life and how I see people. I can't explain it. I can't put it into words. All I know is that, you know, I used to talk about love, like the most radical love and loving yourself and da-da-da-da. We're not always taught that, because we, as humans, we learn from experience or what we're shown, right? I've only truly learned to love myself because I feel like I was shown this divine love from Jesus. And that's all I need to know. And I feel like I learned it from there. And so I understand it on a new level than I did 3 years ago when I started my business. Even then I was pretty successful. But I don't care for I don't want to say I don't care for the success. My success looks different now. If I can actually heal people and help people, not in the way that like, oh, well, let's meditate together. And that will work too. But let's meditate together. You know, you have I can use my hypnotherapy on you, and we'll figure out where this trauma came from. When was the first time you felt like this? What memory do you remember? What emotion are you feeling? Where do you feel it inside your body? Okay, let's work through that. Like, I can do that. That's fine. But if you guys could only understand the love that I understand now, that doesn't even come close to it. If the things that I was doing 2 years ago, right? If that worked, I can't even explain to you the feeling of this peace, of this love, stepping back into my relationship with God and with Jesus. And so I just want to leave it there. I don't want to get like too much into this. I've clearly been talking for a long time already. But I wanted to share this piece with me. I wanted to share this piece of me with you guys because I have been so silent for so long, and I don't want anyone to think that like, oh, she's gone, she disappeared, she, you know, gave up on everything, she gave up on her business. Like, no. I'm taking a break because I'm too busy being loved right now, which I believe, and I don't have, again, I love you, but I don't have the space to love anybody else right now. I'm busy getting loved on right now, and I'm gonna stay here until I'm guided to give it to the world. I'm collecting all the love and happiness and joy right now, and when my cup overflows, I will be back. I promise you that. I can promise you that. I wanted to share this with you guys because it's something that I hold very dear to my heart. And I want to thank everyone who's checked up on me. You know, obviously I have my family, and that is just like automatic, but just my friends, my old clients. I'm good. I'm in a good place. And you guys are all in my thoughts and my prayers always. And I thank you so much for being with me on this journey. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm still on the ride, but I am very, very, very much at peace, and I'm happy, and I hope the same for you. I will be back. I'm gonna leave it at that. Look out, because I'm actually in the middle of podcasting again, and it's a whole new podcast. So if you are following my old one, I'm getting rid of that, or I'm not getting rid of it. I want to say like I'm kind of abandoning it. I'm leaving everything in my old life. I'm leaving everything. I'm leaving all the programs I've created, all of it, my old podcast, whatever platform you used to follow, listen to me on. I've let all of it go because I'm starting from the absolute bottom and building on the foundation with my relationship with Jesus. That's what it is. So obviously, if you follow me, be on the lookout for it. I'll be talking about it when, you know, the closer it gets to everything. But if you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and do that now. I will put it down below. I love you guys, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you. That's all I have to say.